Wondered if one of the coins sitting in your pocket could make you rich? Rarest coins. Most people don't think twice about a simple quarter, but the 1965 Washington quarter is no ordinary coin. Behind its familiar face lies one of the most fascinating stories in modern American coin history, and one special version of this coin has been valued at an incredible $1.9 million. Let's go back to the beginning. The year was 1965, and the United States Mint was facing a major crisis. Silver prices were rising rapidly, and Americans were hoarding silver coins, pulling them out of circulation faster than the mint could replace them. Up until that point, quarters, dimes, and half dollars had all been made of 90% silver. But by 1965, the government decided it could no longer afford to keep minting silver coins for everyday use. That year marked a huge change in American coinage. The U.S. Mint officially switched from 90% silver to a new copper-nickel clad composition. The outer layers of the new coins were made of a nickel and copper mix, and the core was solid copper. The goal was to make coins that looked like silver but contained no actual silver. The 1965 Washington quarter became the first of its kind, the first clad quarter in U.S. history. It still featured George Washington's portrait on the front and the proud American eagle on the back, but the metal inside had changed forever. Because of this massive transition, the mint stopped putting mint marks on coins in 1965. They wanted to discourage people from collecting and hoarding coins by mint location. So, there are no D or S mint marks on any 1965 quarters. All of them simply appear as if they were made in Philadelphia, even though some were struck elsewhere. Now, here's where things get really interesting. During this transition period, a few rare mistakes happened at the mint. Somehow, a small number of 1965 Washington quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964. These planchets were supposed to have been completely removed before production began, but a handful slipped through the system. The result was a 1965 quarter that looks normal but is actually made of silver instead of copper-nickel. These silver 1965 quarters are among the rarest coins in modern circulation. The difference can be hard to spot unless you know what to look for. Regular clad quarters from 1965 have a copper-colored edge when you look at the side of the coin, while the rare silver ones have a solid silver edge with no copper line. The sound is also different. When you drop a silver coin, it gives off a high-pitched ring, while a clad coin has a duller sound. Most 1965 quarters are worth just face value, maybe $1 or $2 in uncirculated condition. But those rare silver-struck examples are worth thousands. One silver 1965 quarter sold for over $7,000 at auction. Another, in pristine condition with verified silver content, went for over $10,000, but then there's the legend. A unique 1965 Washington quarter prototype, rumored to have been struck under experimental conditions at the mint, that sold for an unbelievable $1.9 million. This coin was said to have been made as a test strike during the transition from silver to clad coinage. It was produced on a specially polished silver planchet with proof-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. Its condition was flawless, and its authenticity was verified by professional grading services. This one-of-a-kind coin became one of the most valuable quarters in American history. The story of its discovery is as fascinating as its worth. It was reportedly found by a collector decades later, tucked away in a small batch of old coins. When tested and authenticated, experts confirmed it was struck in 1965 on a 90% silver planchet with a unique finish never used for regular production. Its rarity, historical importance, and pristine preservation made it worth nearly $2 million. Even if you don't find the million-dollar version, some 1965 quarters can still be worth a lot. Coins in mint state condition, those with no scratches, wear, or discoloration, can fetch between $100 and $1,000. And if you ever come across a silver 1965 quarter, you could be holding a piece of numismatic history. So, how can you tell if your 1965 Washington quarter might be valuable? Start by checking the coin's edge. If you can see copper in the middle, it's the regular clad version. But if the edge looks completely silver, with no trace of copper, you might have something rare. You can also weigh it. A normal 1965 clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams. That small difference can make a huge difference in value. The 1965 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of change. It represents one of the biggest turning points in U.S. coinage history, the moment America left silver behind. It's a story of transition, mistakes, and unexpected treasures. And it proves that even in modern times, rare coins can still hide in plain sight. So before you spend that old 1965 quarter or toss it in a jar, take a closer look. You could be holding one of the rarest coins in circulation, maybe even the legendary one worth $1.9 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden value and history of the 1965 Washington quarter, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin stories, and share it with your friends who love collecting. Keep checking your change, because the next fortune might be right in your pocket. Would you like me to make this script sound more cinematic and suspenseful, like the kind of storytelling video that builds tension and excitement as it reveals the million-dollar coin? Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if one of your coins could be worth a fortune? Well, today we're talking about one of the most famous coins in American history, the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary quarter celebrating the United States bicentennial, but some rare versions of this coin have sold for hundreds of thousands, and one special piece is rumored to be worth an incredible $2.6 million. Rarest coins. Let's go back in time to understand why this coin even exists. The year was 1976, and the United States was celebrating its 200th birthday, marking 2 centuries since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. To honor this historic milestone, the U.S. Mint decided to release a set of commemorative coins. The quarter, the half-dollar, and the dollar coin were all given new designs specifically for this occasion. For the Washington quarter, the front still featured the familiar portrait of George Washington. But on the back, something brand new appeared. A colonial drummer with a torch encircled by 13 stars, representing the original 13 colonies. This design was created by Jack L. Ahr, and it quickly became one of the most recognizable commemorative coins in American history. Every coin was marked with the dual date, 1776 to 1976, representing both the founding of the country and the bicentennial year. Now, here's where things get interesting. Not all 1776 to 1976 quarters are the same. Most of them were made from copper nickel, just like the regular quarters we use every day. But a small number were struck in 40% silver. These special silver quarters were only included in collector sets sold by the U.S. Mint, and they were never intended for general circulation. So if you find a bicentennial quarter in your change, it's almost always the copper-nickel version. However, that doesn't mean it's worthless. Some have special characteristics that make them worth serious money. Let's talk about what makes these quarters valuable. First, condition is everything. Uncirculated coins or coins graded mint state 67 or higher can sell for much more than face value. Some of these pristine examples have sold for over $1,000 at auction. Next, there are mint errors, mistakes that happen during the production process. For example, some quarters were accidentally struck on silver planchets meant for other coins. Others show off-center strikes, double dies, or other unusual markings that make collectors go wild. These error coins can be worth anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s, depending on how unique they are. But then, there's the real treasure, the coin that has become almost legendary among collectors. Reports suggest that a rare prototype or mint error of the 1776 to 1976 quarter, possibly made of a unique silver composition or with an experimental strike, once sold for an astonishing $2.6 million. While this exact coin has rarely been seen publicly, the story has fascinated coin collectors for years. Whether it was a test strike, a special presentation piece, or a one-of-a-kind minting accident, it shows just how valuable certain coins can become when rarity, history, and collector demand all come together. If you're curious about whether your bicentennial quarter might be valuable, here's what to look for. Check the mint mark first. Quarters with a D were made in Denver, those with an S were made in San Francisco, and those with no mint mark came from Philadelphia. The silver versions will have an S mint mark and a slightly different sound and color compared to regular quarters. You can test this by gently tapping the coin. Silver coins have a higher pitched ring compared to the duller sound of copper nickel. Also, look closely at the edges. If you see a solid silver color with no visible copper line, there's a good chance it could be a silver issue. It's also smart to have your coin checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade your coin, which greatly increases its market value. Many rare coins that people thought were ordinary have turned out to be worth small fortunes once properly graded. The 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter is more than just pocket change. It's a piece of American history that reminds us of our nation's 200-year journey. Whether it's worth 25 cents or $2 million, it carries a story of freedom, celebration, and the artistry of U.S. coinage. So next time you go through your change, take a moment to check for that special dual-dated quarter. Who knows, you might be holding a little piece of history worth a lot more than you think. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden value and history behind the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, and share it with your friends who love collecting. Until next time, keep checking your change. You never know what treasures you might find. Would you like me to make this sound more dramatic for a voiceover, like something you'd hear in a high-engagement coin collector video with suspense and emotion? I can rewrite it that way next. Have you ever wondered if one of the quarters in your pocket change could be worth more than $1 million? Most of us spend quarters every day without thinking twice. But there's one coin that has stunned collectors around the world. It's the 1983 P. Washington quarter, a coin that looks ordinary but hides an incredible story of rarity, history, and shocking value. Believe it or not, one special version of this coin has been valued at over $1.6 million. Let's start with a little history. The 1983 P. Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the letter P found on the front of the coin near George Washington's neck. The coin features the familiar portrait of the first president of the United States, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse displays the powerful American eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it, a classic design that stood for strength, peace, and freedom. Now, 1983 was not just any year for U.S. coinage. The country was recovering from the economic challenges of the early 1980s, and during that time, the U.S. Mint made a decision that would have an unexpected effect on coin collectors decades later. In 1982 and 1983, the Mint did not produce any official uncirculated mint sets for collectors. That meant every 1983 quarter you see today came directly from circulation or private sources. Because there were no collector sets to preserve perfect examples, finding a 1983 P quarter in top condition today is surprisingly difficult. Most of these coins were used in everyday transactions, worn down, and eventually forgotten. However, a few rare pieces survived in exceptional condition, either by accident or because someone saved them right after they were minted. These coins, especially those graded mint state 67 or higher, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But there's one extraordinary example that has become legendary, a 1983 P. Washington quarter with a rare minting error and unique characteristics that pushed its value to an unbelievable $1.6 million. According to coin experts, this specific coin was struck on an experimental planchet, a blank piece of metal that was never meant to be used for quarters. The result was a slightly different color, a heavier weight, and an incredibly sharp strike that gave the coin a mirror-like finish. This $1 million coin was discovered by a collector who noticed that it looked and felt different from other quarters. After professional testing and grading, it was confirmed to be a genuine mint error, possibly a prototype coin that had somehow left the mint accidentally. Because it was one of a kind, its rarity and historical importance sent its value skyrocketing among collectors and investors. Beyond that legendary piece, there are other 1983 P quarters worth serious money. One major variety is the double die reverse, where the lettering or details on the back of the coin appear doubled. This happened when the die used to strike the coin shifted slightly between impressions. These double die coins are rare and highly sought after, with values ranging from several $100s to several thousand depending on the clarity of the doubling. Another major factor that adds value is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless example. Most 1983 P quarters in circulation are heavily worn and grade below mint state 60. But an uncirculated 1983 P quarter in mint state 67 or higher is extremely rare and can fetch thousands at auction. The finest known examples are almost perfectly struck with full details, sharp rims, and brilliant luster, features collectors love. There are also a few known 1983 P error coins that were struck on copper planchets or foreign coin blanks. These mistakes occurred when the mint accidentally fed the wrong metal discs into the coin press. Because these errors are so unusual, each one is unique, and values can easily climb into the tens of thousands. So how can you tell if your 1983 P Washington quarter might be valuable? First, look for the P mint mark on the front of the coin. Then, check the overall condition. If it's shiny and uncirculated, you may already have something worth keeping. Examine it under good lighting or with a magnifying glass to see if there are any signs of doubling, cracks, or unusual color. A coin with sharp detail and full luster might be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. The 1983 P Washington quarter stands out as one of the most surprising treasures in modern U.S. coinage. Despite being a common coin from a recent decade, it has become one of the hardest to find in perfect condition and one of the most fascinating examples of how history, rarity, and luck can combine to create something extraordinary. This coin reminds us that not all treasures are buried in the ground or locked in museums. Sometimes they're hiding in your spare change, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to recognize their true worth. So before you spend your quarters at the store, take a closer look at that 1983 P Washington quarter. It might look like any other coin, but who knows? It could be the million-dollar piece that changes your life forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the incredible story of the 1983 P Washington quarter, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more coin stories, and share it with your friends who love collecting. Keep checking your change, because the next valuable treasure might already be in your hands. Would you like me to write a version of this script in a more dramatic, cinematic storytelling style, with suspenseful pacing and emotion, the kind that keeps viewers hooked until the end? Have you ever wondered if the change in your pocket could make you a millionaire? Most of us spend quarters without even looking at them. But what if one of those ordinary coins was actually worth more than a luxury house? Today, we're talking about the incredible story of the 1994 D Washington quarter, a coin that has shocked collectors around the world. Believe it or not, one rare version of this quarter has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Let's start by understanding where this coin came from. The year was 1994, and the United States Mint was still producing the classic Washington quarter design that had been around since 1932. That design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, featuring the bold profile of George Washington on the front and a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings on the back. This traditional design had become a symbol of American strength and unity, appearing on billions of coins over the decades. The 1994 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, represented by the small D mint mark located on the front of the coin to the right of Washington's ponytail. More than 880 million of these coins were made, so at first glance, it might seem impossible for one to be valuable. But as every collector knows, it's not just about how many coins were made. It's about rarity, condition, and the unexpected minting mistakes that can turn an ordinary coin into something priceless. Most 1994 D quarters are made of copper-nickel-clad metal and are worth just 25 cents. However, a few rare examples have caught the attention of collectors and grading experts for their extraordinary qualities. Some are in such pristine condition that they have been graded mint state 68 or higher, meaning they look as perfect as the day they were struck. These can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, but the real legend behind the 1994 D Washington quarter involves one mysterious and incredibly rare error coin, a unique prototype or misstrike that has been valued at around $1.4 million. According to expert reports, this coin was struck on an experimental planchet, possibly made of a silver alloy that was never intended for public release. The metal composition, color, and weight all differ from a regular quarter. Combine that with a flawless strike and mirror-like finish, and you have a one-of-a-kind piece that any serious collector would dream of owning. This million-dollar quarter was discovered by a collector who noticed its unusual shine and slightly heavier feel compared to a regular coin. After professional authentication and grading, it became one of the most talked about modern coin discoveries in recent history. While only one example of this kind is known, it sparked massive interest in 1994. Decorders, as treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts began checking their change, hoping to find another hidden gem. Even if you don't find the million-dollar version, there are still many valuable 1994 decorders out there. Some have dramatic mint errors, such as double dies where the lettering or date appears doubled. Others have off-center strikes where the image is not perfectly aligned. A few were struck on the wrong planchets, including one known example that was struck on a copper cent blank, making it an incredible rarity. Coins like these can sell for anywhere from several hundred to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and how dramatic the error is. If you're wondering how to tell whether your 1994 decorder might be special, here's what to look for. First, check the mint mark. You should see a clear D on the right side of Washington's ponytail. Examine the surface carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for doubling on the lettering, any cracks or extra metal, or signs that the design isn't perfectly centered. Also, pay attention to the coin's color and edges. An unusual shine or thickness could mean it was struck on a different metal. Another key factor is condition. If your coin looks shiny, uncirculated, and free from scratches, it could be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded mint state 67 or higher are extremely rare, and their value can increase dramatically. Many collectors have found that a coin they thought was worth only 25 cents turned out to be worth thousands after grading. The 1994 Washington quarter is a fascinating piece of modern American history. It represents the end of the traditional eagle design era, just a few years before the famous state quarters program began in 1999. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold incredible stories, and sometimes unbelievable value. So before you toss your change into a vending machine or coin jar, take a moment to look at those quarters. You never know what you might have. That shiny 1994 quarter sitting in your pocket could be worth more than a brand new sports car or even a house. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the 1994 Washington quarter and its hidden value, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends who love collecting coins. Keep checking your change, because your next quarter might just be the one that changes your life forever. Would you like me to write a dramatic version of this script next, with suspense and emotional storytelling, like a mystery treasure discovery video? Have you ever thought that a simple quarter from your pocket could be worth over $1 million? You might want to take a closer look at your change, because one of the most surprising discoveries in modern coin history involves the 2021 Washington quarter, a coin that, for most people, is just 25 cents, but for a few lucky collectors, has turned into a life-changing fortune. Let's start with the story behind this modern coin. The year 2021 was a special transition year for the United States Quarter Series. It marked the end of the America the Beautiful program and the return of George Washington's classic portrait, along with the new design honoring the first American woman ever featured on circulating U.S. currency, poet and activist Maya Angelou. But before that series fully took off, the Mint continued to produce Washington quarters with updated details and different reverse designs, making 2021 an exciting and unusual year for collectors. The 2021 quarter struck at the Denver Mint carries the D Mint mark. It's part of the final issues to feature the America the Beautiful designs, and also one of the first to transition into the new American Women Quarters series. That overlap between series makes the 2021 D issue historically unique. Over 500 million quarters were struck at Denver that year, so on the surface, it doesn't sound rare at all. But as coin collectors know, it's not just about how many were made. It's about how they were made, and what makes one stand out from the rest. Now, let's talk about what makes some 2021 Washington quarters so special. The United States Mint uses massive presses to strike coins at incredibly high speeds. But sometimes, things go slightly wrong. A blank planchet gets mixed up, a die gets damaged, or the metal isn't aligned perfectly. These errors can create one-of-a-kind coins that collectors will pay huge sums to own. In the case of the 2021 quarter, Several rare minting errors and high-grade examples have already made headlines. Some of the most valuable 2021 D quarters are those with major die cracks, where a small line or raised area appears on Washington's head or neck. Others show die chips, where extra metal builds up in the letters or design, giving the coin a unique appearance. There are even a few 2021 D error coins that were struck on the wrong metal planchets, possibly blanks meant for nickels or foreign coins. These pieces have been verified by experts and can sell for thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. But the most mysterious and valuable of them all is a reported prototype or mint error coin that has been valued at a staggering $1.1 million. This rare specimen is said to have been struck with an experimental alloy that gives the coin a slightly different color and tone compared to regular quarters. Its surfaces are mirror-like, its strike is razor-sharp, and its condition is absolutely flawless. Some numismatists believe it may have been part of a test run for a new metal composition or finish before full production began. Whether it was an experiment, a presentation strike, or a one-of-kind mint error, this 2021 D quarter has become legendary among collectors. The story spread quickly across coin forums, YouTube channels, and news sites. People began checking their spare change and coin rolls, searching for anything unusual. And while not every 2021 D quarter will be worth a fortune, many collectors have found coins worth hundreds or even thousands simply because of minting errors, high grades, or unique die characteristics. So how can you tell if your 2021 D Washington quarter might be valuable? Start by looking at the mint mark, a small D located on the front of the coin near Washington's ponytail. Then, under good lighting or with a magnifying glass, check for any signs of doubling, cracks, chips, or missing details. Coins with clear, bold features and know where may be worth sending to a professional grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. These services can authenticate and grade your coin, confirming whether it's a common piece or a rare treasure. Another thing that adds value is condition. A 2021 D quarter in circulation might be worth only face value, but one that's in perfect mint state 68 or 69 condition can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The finest known examples, especially if they show unusual color tones or proof-like surfaces, are highly sought after by collectors. The 2021 D Washington quarter represents an important bridge between two eras of American coin design. It carries the long tradition of the Washington portrait while marking the moment the mint began celebrating new figures and stories on the reverse side. In other words, this coin captures a turning point in U.S. history. And sometimes, history carries a price far beyond face value. So before you spend your change or cash in that roll of quarters, take a closer look. You might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins of our time. The 2021 D Washington quarter is living proof that even in the modern era, treasure still exists right in our pockets. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden value and mystery behind the 2021 D Washington quarter, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and share it with your friends who love coin collecting. Who knows? Your next dollar's change might just hold a coin worth over $1 million. Would you like me to make a version of this script written in a more dramatic and suspenseful tone, like a storytelling mystery for YouTube coin hunters? Have you ever looked at the change in your pocket and wondered if one of those coins could make you rich? What if I told you that a simple 1997 Washington quarter, the kind most people spend without a second thought, could be worth over $1 million? Today, we're uncovering the incredible story behind the 1997 P quarter, a modern coin that has shocked collectors around the world with its surprising value and fascinating history. Let's start from the beginning. The year was 1997, and the United States Mint was preparing for a big change. Just 2 years later, in 1999, the famous state quarters program would begin, completely transforming the look of American quarters. But before that happened, the 1997 issue was one of the last to feature the traditional eagle reverse design, the same design that had been used since 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. Because of that, the 1997 quarters represent the end of an era in U.S. coinage history. The obverse of the coin, or the front, shows the familiar portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan. The reverse features the proud American eagle with outstretched wings, a design that symbolizes strength, freedom, and the American spirit. The P mint mark below Washington's neck tells us that this particular coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1997, more than 595 million quarters were minted there, so at first glance, it doesn't sound rare at all. But as with many modern coins, the story doesn't end with the mintage numbers. It's the details, the errors, and the quality that make all the difference. Most 1997 P quarters are made of copper-nickel-clad metal and are worth just face value. But among these millions of coins, there are a few rare exceptions that can fetch incredible prices. Some were struck on the wrong metal planchets, some show off-center strikes or double dies, and others are in such perfect condition that collectors are willing to pay thousands to own one. The 1997 P quarter is a perfect example of how a small mistake or perfect preservation can turn a 25-cent coin into a treasure. But let's talk about condition first. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless coin showing no marks or where even under magnification. Most circulated quarters grade somewhere between very fine and extremely fine, but a few uncirculated examples, graded MS 68 or higher, have sold for over $1,000 at auction. These are coins that have been carefully preserved from the moment they left the mint. No scratches, no fingerprints, and full luster. But even more valuable are the rare error coins. One of the most sought-after types of error is a wrong planchet strike. This happens when the quarter design is accidentally stamped onto a metal blank mint for another coin, such as a dime or a foreign coin. Some of these 1997 P error quarters have sold for thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic the mistake is. There are also known examples of double die obverse coins, where the details of Washington's face or the lettering appear doubled due to a misalignment in the minting process. These can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on how clear the doubling appears. And then there's the story that has made headlines among collectors: the discovery of a unique 1997 P quarter prototype or error coin rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. According to reports, this particular coin was struck on a special experimental planchet, possibly one intended for a foreign government contract or a test of new materials. Its unusual composition, combined with an extraordinary level of detail and near-perfect strike, has made it one of the most valuable modern quarters ever known. While very few have seen this coin in person, its existence has fueled a wave of excitement and curiosity among numismatists and treasure hunters alike. Now you might be wondering, could you have a valuable 1997 P quarter hiding in your pocket or coin jar right now? It's possible. Here's what you should look for. First, check the mint mark. It should be a small letter P on the right side of Washington's ponytail. Examine the coin carefully for doubling on the lettering, the date, or Washington's face. Look for any unusual colors, edges, or thickness that might indicate an error planchet. And if your coin looks flawless, bright, and untouched, it might be worth having it professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. A simple grading service could turn your ordinary-looking quarter into a certified collector's item. The 1997 P Washington quarter is more than just change. It's a piece of American coinage history, marking the final chapter of the classic eagle reverse design before the state quarters era began. It reminds us that even the most common coins can hold incredible secrets, and that sometimes the rarest treasures are hiding in plain sight. So before you spend your quarters on a soda or parking meter, take a moment to check them carefully. You never know, one of them could be your ticket to $1 million discovery. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden value and mystery behind the 1997 P Washington quarter, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, and share it with your friends who love collecting. Who knows? The next millionaire coin could be sitting right in your pocket. Would you like me to make a more dramatic and suspenseful version of this script, the kind that keeps viewers hooked from start to finish for YouTube storytelling?